Hello and welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Samuel, founder of a revolutionary medical sales training and mentorship program called the Medical Sales Career Builder, and I'm also host of the Medical Sales Podcast. In this podcast, I interview top medical sales reps and leading medical sales executives across the entire world. It doesn't matter what medical sales industry, from medical device to pharmaceutical to genetic testing and diagnostic lab, you name it, you will learn how to either break into the industry, be a top 10% performer within your role, or climb the corporate ladder. Welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. And remember, I am a medical sales expert sharing my own opinion about this amazing industry and how it can change your life. Hey, Emmanuel, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good, Samuel. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So please tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Emmanuel Orange. I work for a company called Medline. I'm the acute care sales rep. And I always like to tell people a little bit about Medline. So Medline's a manufacturing and distribution company first. A little bit about Medline is if you were to flip a hospital upside down, we have the power and the bandwidth to kind of distribute or make anything within it. My role is very unique. As an acute care sales rep, I really get the opportunity to be a liaison between my customer and my own Medline team. And we have about 32 different divisions, from skin health to vascular to respiratory, environmental services, you name it, we can probably do it. And I'm basically a resource to my customer, and I best align with them to really kind of get them what they need when they need it with my team.
I love it. And don't forget, you're also, for anyone that's a medical sales fan, I think they've seen you on LinkedIn. You're also a social media, something like that, right?
Yeah. No, which is cool, man, which is cool. I think, Medline's kind of give me the platform to really, shed light on the company in a positive realm, of course. And, it's been fun. It's been fun, getting out there and, being the voice for Medline. It's been fantastic.
Love it. So talk to us a little bit more about this acute sales rep. So this is a non-invasive role. What exactly are you doing? Talk to us about what exactly are you responsible for selling? Who are your customer call points? And then maybe walk us through a day in the life.
Yeah. So, within my role, I oversee 10 large IDN hospitals, within my territory in South Florida. And, my role is very unique because I'm not a specialist in any shape, way, or form. But I think what's unique about my role is I'm the go-to guy that make things happen. So I'm the connector, I'm a resource, I'm the advisor, I'm the consultant. And it's a really good role because the way I'm positioned within the hospital, nothing moves without me when it comes to Medline brand. So I know a little bit about everything, and I really get to consult with, whether it's from C-suite to supply chain to directors to clinicians. I'm really involved in a lot, but I also get to bring the resource. I think where it's fun in my role is I really bring value wherever my customer sees fit. And I'm not just a one-trick pony because I'm not specialized to one thing. So with our 32 divisions, we have about 350,000 SKUs of Medline brand products. That's not even included our distribution partners that we distribute. So like I said, if we don't make it, we distribute it. And, our goal is to be the one-stop shop for a customer. So at the end of the day I want to be that resource to my customer, and I best align with them by really bringing my team along to really solving their needs.
So in your role then, okay, you say your role is unique. Is it because acute care sales reps are unique, or the acute care sales rep within within Medline is unique?
Well, I think it's because of our capabilities, right? I think you got the Cardinals of the world, you have the Owens and Minor, you have people who do things, companies that do things very similarly, but I think the way we do things, we do things different because of our capabilities, from an infrastructure standpoint. If you take a look at our manufacturing, how we're able to source, how we're able to transport goods, and our bandwidth from clinicians to our specialists. We have so many resources, to our customers. Sometimes it could really get overwhelming. I remember when I first started, I've never had this much resource in my life at a company. So I think it makes us very different and unique in that realm when it comes to value.
Got it. Okay. So in acute care sales, you said that you're the resource, you're the connector, you're touching so many different things. How is performance measured then in this role?
Yeah. I think the bottom line is, it's all about not only what the customer, at the end of the day, it's all about what the customer wants, right? I think you got to align with that first. I work for Medline, and we're responsible for really driving Medline brand growth with that. And I think, and a little caveat to that, I would probably input is, you got to think of as Medline as like the Amazon of healthcare, right? I mean, we're a one-stop shop. You could go to Amazon for pretty much anything. And that's how we position ourselves within each hospital, within each customers that we serve, right? We want our customer to go at least, we want the customer to come to us for everything. And at some point in time, let's say if the customer is using another competitor's product, hey, at some point in time, there's going to be a recall. There's going to be something that's happening, and the customer is going to have to come up with a solution. And I think that's where we come in and we do a great job of not only filling that void, because I think in the middle of crisis, customer is going to remember who was with them and who was not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's when we're able to capitalize the most, and we're able to really grow our partnerships.
So think of it this way, that someone's listening right now, they have no idea what an acute care sales rep does. And they're listening to this, they're like, okay, so what is he? Is he the fixer for Medline? Like, what does he mean? The research, what is he talking about? Talk to us a little bit in the vein of, when you go out and go to work, what are you driving? Are you driving that this section within the hospitals thinking about Medline when it comes to these things? Or are you driving that every section possible that you have the bandwidth to reach is thinking about Medline? Talk to us a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah. So, as an acute care sales rep, I think it's aligning with supply chain, right? So everything comes through a supply chain, right? So when it comes to supply chain distribution, supply chain optimization, I think no one does it better than us. So I think me working with the supply chain from the bottom up, and then my clinicians working with a clinician from the top down, I think we always come in the middle, and we always look at the table and see like, hey man, look how all this came together kind of beautifully. So I think to kind of answer your question is, it really is, really a team effort, when it comes to the things that we do here at Medline.
Okay. So walk through us a day in the life. What time are you waking up? What is, between 8 and 12, what usually happens? Between 1 and 5, what usually happens? Give us from top to bottom. You're waking up at what time, and then walk us through your day.
Yeah, man, I wake up early, 5:30 a.m., get a workout in. I'm usually probably out the door at 7. Like I said, I cover South Florida, so I'm usually at one of my prime vendor accounts, which we have a distribution deal signed with. And we're usually, like I said, usually meeting with supply chain first, going over items, back ordered items, just really anything that has to do with product first. And then, from there, like I said, I cover the whole hospital, so nothing moves. So I have the ability. I think one cool thing about being acute care, like I'm not limited to anything. So I can go sell in the sterile processing. I can go sell in the OR. I can go sell in the morgue. I can go sell in environmental services. I can go sell in
There's
the
something
cath
they're
lab.
using.
Yeah, yeah. So I can go sell in the cath lab. I can go sell in the ER. I can go sell anywhere. And as I identify these needs as the hunter, that's when I bring my specialists along, for these unique opportunities as I'm in the hospital discovering those needs.
Okay. So is it more like you're in a hospital account from 8 to 12, or are you bouncing around to different hospitals from 8 to 12?
Bouncing from hospitals from 8 to 12. So I'm usually, I think a busy day for me is being at 3 hospitals at a time, depending on proximity. But I'm usually at 2. So from about 8 to 12, I'll probably do one hospital. And then from 1 to 3, 1 to 4, I'm usually at another. And it's basically just wash, rinse, and repeat, doing the same thing, checking in with supplies, supply chain, making sure they have what they need, and then going to the clinicians, making sure that everything is working properly for them to enhance patient safety care.
Sure. So because you have so much autonomy with where you can be, do you find yourself hanging out in more areas than other areas? Talk to us about that.
No, no. I mean, I think I'm very focused in what I do on the day to day. Now, of course, I think being that I cover the hospital, I think there's a lot I can do, but I think at the same time, I mean, we have. Yeah, I think the best way to answer this is it's always aligning with your customer. I think when you align with your customer, you sit down and you tell, at the beginning of the year or fiscal year, they'll tell you what their goals are. You're usually focusing on that mission and trying to find ways to to fulfill their needs. So pretty focused on my customers' needs, and I'm very customer centric in
Got
that
it.
sense.
Got it. Got it. And just to give people a picture, you mentioned cath lab, you mentioned sterile processing. Again, some people listen to this and they have no idea what those are. Give us an idea of what the actual products that you're helping move are.
Yeah. So in SPD, I mean, we have we're in the consumable space. So from sterilization wraps, you have the, instrument guards. I mean, we're in the instrument space. So we're competing with the best of the best when it comes to that German grade steel. When it comes to surgical instruments, spine, trays, you name it, within that guards. In the OR, we have everything from surgical pack trays and the surgical pack trays are basically commodity like items from drapes and stuff we package together to drive the efficiencies within the OR. Cath lab, or we have a company that we acquired back then. It's called Namic. So it's our Namic division. We have hydrophilic wires, right stop kits, all type of things. In the ER, you have your band-aids, your gowns, lab coats. Even, we're big in the lab space too. So a little bit of everything. Everything that's in a hospital, I think we have the capabilities of really serving the customer.
Yeah. 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 How long have you been in your role, Emmanuel?
Well, March just made 2 years, so 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 it feels longer than that, but it's only been 2 years, and I still have my hair, so I'm doing good.
Wow. So 2 years in. So let's talk about that. What was it like to learn to be efficient with just such a large array of products? How I'm sure someone's listening to this and thinking, wait, how many products does he manage? How did you get up to speed quickly?
Yeah, I think one of the first things that I did was really align with my team, and I told you and I probably harped on this a few times, is Medline, we have a great deal of resources from training to our trainers to management to leadership, and also our one Medline team, which is our specialist. It's a core focus product group of specialists, and like I said, going on field ride with them, seeing what they're focused on, aligning with them. I think I did a lot of field rides early in the beginning, and then just really asking questions. And I think, being in this role, I think the best thing you can do is not know anything. And when I did that, I think I was able to be a sponge, and be a resource to my customer.
Got it. Got it. Very cool. Now, I'm assuming with an acute care sales rep, you got to be a kind of person. In the best way you can describe it, what are 3 characteristics that someone that excels in a role like this absolutely has to have? I hope you're enjoying today's episode. And I want to let you know our programs cover the entire career of a medical sales professional. From getting into the medical sales industry, to training on how to be a top performer in the medical sales industry, to masterfully navigating your career to executive level leadership. These programs are personalized and customized for your specific career and background, and trained by over 50 experts, including surgeons. Our results speak for ourselves, and we're landing positions for our candidates in less than 120 days in top medical technology companies like Stryker, Medtronic, Merck, Abbott, you name it. Would you run an Ironman race without training and a strategy? You wouldn't. So why are you trying to do the same with a medical sales position? You need training, you need a strategy, and you need to visit evolveyoursuccess.com, fill out the application, schedule some time with one of our account executives, and let's get you into the position that you've always dreamed of.
Yeah, I think you got to be agile, right? You got to be agile. You got to be ready to pivot because things are not going to go your way every day. I also think you got to have grit. And I think that goes within itself, right? You're going to get told no a lot, And I also think you got to be a continuous learner. I think in this space, in order for you to grow, I think for the reps that lasted 10, 20 plus years in this space, they've continued to evolve with time and they've continued to learn from, not only their peers, but customers alike.
You know, Medline is well known. I see Medline everywhere.
Yeah.
I imagine it's easy here to develop relationships because of the reputation of Medline. But talk to us a bit about what are the challenges, even being from Medline, what are the biggest challenges when it comes to acute care selling?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you take the brand out of it, right? And I think and I think you have to do that because people are going to buy from who they like. No matter if it was the Medline, no matter if it was whoever else. I think when you take the brand out of it, I mean, I think I know we're pushing product and we're we're selling products, but we're definitely in the people business. We're definitely in the people business, and definitely in the patient enhancing patient business, patient care business. So I think when you take Medline out of it, the brand out of it, at the end of the day, I'm an individual, you're an individual, and the person that's gonna get operated on is the individual as well. So you got to have care and compassion. And I think Medline, of course, when you represent that brand, when you represent that logo, I think there's a standard that comes along with it, and you got to live up to that. You got to live up to that. So I think we've done a great job here at doing that, and I think it speaks volume to our growth year over year.
I love it. I love it. In acute care sales, what is the range? If somebody is listening to this episode and thinking maybe they're in medical sales, or thinking, what, I love what he's talking about. I want to make the move to acute care sales. Or someone outside the industry is saying, man, I had no idea that's what I want to be doing. What range is the compensation in this kind of space?
Yeah, so I would say anywhere. I'll kind of give you a range, probably around probably 150 to high six, figure range. And of course, and like I said, it's up to you as you kind of keep growing your business, your book of business, and things of that nature. There's a lot of factors that goes into that, but I think within the acute care space or acute care sales, I mean, you could easily you could make that if you're performing at a high level.
Well, you said 150 to what range?
So I'll say 250. Yeah, about 250 range.
Right. Got it. Very cool. And you talked to us about, I love, you get up early. I'm the same way, but you also said the day ends at what time?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, the days when I wanted, when I wanted to end it. And I say that with with a grain of salt, because I know there's a lot of people here who are, who's all about work balance. I personally don't believe in that. I believe in work quality. But I think I always tell people I make it home before dinner. So, I make it home by or before dinner. I think that's kind of the best way to put it. But if a customer were to call me at 9 p.m., I would pick it up. If they called me at 6 a.m., I would pick up the phone. So to me, it's all about just being there for your customer. I don't have a, designated time that I pretty much turn it off. Everybody's different. But for me, I like to say I'm usually home by or before dinner, which is 7 p.m.
Okay. No, that's good. But you did say customers do call at 9 and they call at 6. Is that something that happens regularly, or is that one-offs?
No, those are probably one-offs in our business. Those are probably one-off in our business, and depending on the specialty too. Depending on the specialty too, right? So, I mean, if you're selling instruments, things of that nature, it's probably a little different. You probably got more flexibility there. But overseeing the whole hospital, I mean, I have probably 10 to 15 touch points within within the hospital, right? As a specialty, I only got one, but that doesn't mean one's more important than the other, but it's just more people and more eyes on you that needs things. So
Sure. And if you can share with us, what's your setup like? Do you have kids and a wife at home, or is it just Emmanuel taking care of himself? How do you make this kind of role work for you?
no, man, it's just Emmanuel taking care of itself. But I hope in one day or in the near future I can get to that point. I could get
All
to
right.
that
All
point
right.
because I was on a quick story. I was on a field ride the other day, and then one of my guys, he was from Michigan, his name John Sword, and when I was dropping off at the airport, I said, "Man, you get to go home to your lovely wife and kids, and I get to go home. I get to go home alone." So it was a fun joke, but I told him, man, I definitely look forward to that day at some point in time.
Yeah. 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 With this kind of role, do you find it easier to do single, or would you say that because of the way it's set up, anyone with any situation can maximize this kind of?
Yeah, no, I think anyone single, married, no, I think anyone, whether regardless of the situation, a woman with kids or family, whatever the case may be. Like I said, I talk to a lot of, women, especially in the professional setting, who are more focused on that work-life balance and being with their family and raising the kids and things of that nature. I think if you are, whoever you are, and yeah, you could definitely be successful in this space. Yep, and find fulfillment at the same time.
Got it. Now I want to go to the flip side of what we just talked about regarding the right kind of person for this role. Who's the kind of person that should probably stay away from this role? A medical sales professional, maybe they're in a different space and they're listening to this, they're thinking about acute care sales, or someone that wants to be in medical sales thinking about acute care sales. What would you say that, look, you probably should not consider this space if it's A, B, and C?
Yeah. I mean, I think the first thing that comes to mind, if you're not customer centric, I think, if you're somebody that doesn't like to deal with people, or if you don't, that's not customer facing, I don't think, this role would necessarily be for you. And I think, second, I think it's the challenging aspect, right? I think it's challenging, although it's rewarding, but I think there's challenges where you're going to have tough conversations sometimes, and it might not be the best thing, to do. So there could be some discomfort there. And I think if I were to put, three, I think, someone that's not self-motivated. If you're looking to be micromanaged, I don't think this space, I don't think this space, I don't think this job or this role would be, would be for you. So I think you have to be self-motivated to have tremendous success in this role.
Okay, now I want to switch gears a little bit to the technology in this space. We know AI is here and well, and it's growing like when Google joined the
Yep.
world, and it's just growing. It's becoming part of our lives. How does it play into what you do, or does it play very much into what you do?
Yeah, no, it plays a great deal, man. We just had a partnership with Microsoft. And so there's a lot of things that we're doing to really enhance our capabilities with our customers. Whether it's getting data faster, whether it's, getting product in. And so, like I said, I think for us too, even from a sales reps aspect, I think AI has been tremendous on kind of what it's doing for us on the back end as well. So it's been great. I think it's been something we've been embracing here at Medline with our partnership with Microsoft.
Now, social media management. I think it's the coolest thing. I have a few episodes actually where I talk to people on the forefront of social media managing in medical sales and how big of a role it's going to play. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. We're here, I believe.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about being a brand ambassador for your company. What has that impacted? What has that changed? What has affected in your role and with your business?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always been prone to that. Not prone, but I've definitely embraced social media. I mean, ever since I've been in senior leadership with, moving up the ranks through corporate, I've always embraced it. And I think it was just another channel for, people to not only see who you are, but what you're doing, how you're doing it, but more so in a natural feel. And I feel the same thing, here at Medline. I think I've been able to connect with a lot of people, whether internally or externally. And like I said, I think it's been great for the brand. And I think we have a lot of brand ambassadors. It's not only myself. I think there's a lot more of us who are doing great things. And that's, shedding a positive light, on the company.
Well, Emmanuel, it has been amazing to hear about the acute care sales life. You're doing amazing things. We see you on the LinkedIn platform, letting it be known you're brand ambassador for Medline, and you're making such a name for yourself out there. And you're also even working with NSN, which I think is a beautiful thing. This has been fantastic. We got one more thing to do before we close it up today. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. So this is called the lightning round. I'm going to ask you 4 questions. You have less than 10 seconds to answer. First
Yeah.
question is, what is the best book you've read in the last 6 months?
Hmm. How to build, how to build.
Ooh, by who? I haven't heard them.
It's funny. I don't know the author, but I know it's how to build.
Okay, how to build. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll find it and put in the show notes. All right. And then second question, what is the best TV show or movie you've seen in the last 6 months?
Wow, that's a great question. I think I watched this show. I think it was like on Amazon Prime called Lioness. It was like a Army Navy kind of type of movie.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoyed that one.
Oh, no, I know about that one. That's good. Okay. We want the item, the restaurant, the location, and if you can, the meal. What is the best restaurant or the best food you've had in the last 6 months?
Wow, that's tough. That is tough. That is tough. I'll probably have to go. Wow, I'll probably have to go to Staple in South Beach, Prime 112. It's a nice
Prime
steakhouse.
112.
So I would probably have to go just with that, just because it's popular, it's famous. I've done it a few times, and I've always had a good time.
And next one is South Beach. That's what I'm having. And then last but not least, what is the best experience you've had in the last 6 months?
Wow, I think traveling to Mexico City, Mexico City. I think anytime I travel somewhere that's that's been very, that's that I just came back from, it's been Mexico City, and it's been fun. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed my time there.
I love it. Well, Emmanuel, thanks for the time. And we can't wait to see all the amazing things you do out there on LinkedIn platform and with Medline.
Right, man. Thank you, Samuel.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And remember, I have a customized and personalized program that gets you into the medical technology industry as a sales professional or any type of role for that matter. Become a top performer in your position and masterfully navigate your career to executive level leadership. Check out these programs and learn more at evolvesuccess.com by visiting our site, filling out an application, schedule some time with one of our account executives, and allowing us to get you where you need to be. Stay tuned for more awesome content with amazing interviews on the Medical Sales Podcast.